Pingu and the Messy Meal. It was lunchtime in Pingu's house. Mum, Dad, and Pingu were all sitting round the table together. Mum and Dad were tucking into a nice fresh fish.
"Eat up, Pingu,"
said Dad. But Pingu was having trouble with his potatoes. Every time he tried to pick one up with his fork, it slipped off.
"Stupid fork,"
said Pingu, and he bashed it on the table. Then it was so flat that he could get the potatoes to stay on it easily.
"Stop mucking about, Pingu,"
said Dad.
"This is how you use your fork to eat a potato."
But just as Dad raised the fork to his mouth, the potato fell off it. Pingu hooted with laughter. Pingu was beginning to enjoy himself, and decided to blow bubbles in his glass of milk. It made a good loud noise.
"Stop it, Pingu,"
warned Mum.
"Just heat up your food quietly."
Pingu opened his beak as wide as he could, tipped his head back and began to dangle the fish in his throat. There was a gobbling sound, and Pingu triumphantly held up the fish skeleton to show he had eaten all the fish.
"Finished,"
said Pingu, and without asking, he got off his chair and headed for the toy box.
"And just where do you think you're going?"
said Dad.
"Come straight back to the table and eat your greens."
Pingu pulled a face.
"I don't like greens,"
he whined.
"Then I'll have to feed you like a baby,"
said Dad, and he began to shovel forkloads of greens into Pingu's beak, until Pingu felt completely full.
"Now eat that last bit up yourself,"
said Dad.
"You want to grow into a big, strong penguin, don't you?"
"I'm not sure,"
said Pingu in a very small voice. There was only one thing for it. Pingu took his straw, and sucked the whole lot up in one go. Yuck, thought Pingu. Now his mouth was full of greens. What was worse, no matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't swallow them. This was an emergency. Pingu dashed to the bathroom, and spat his mouth full of greens into the toilet. Then he pulled the chain.
"Bye-bye greens,"
he said cheerfully. As he left the bathroom, he made a face in the mirror. He was feeling rather pleased with himself. Pingu wondered if Mum and Dad would say anything when he came back into the room. Did they know what he'd done? But Mum and Dad only watched as Pingu sidled past them, and made a dive for his toy box. Pingu searched through all his toys, and found his ball. He wanted to play football with it, but it looked very flat.
"Can you pump it up for me, please?"
he asked Dad. While Dad pumped the ball up, Pingu had a lick of Mum's ice lolly. It turned into a very large lick.
"Hey,"
said Mum.
"that's enough."
The ball was ready now.
"Thanks, Dad,"
said Pingu, and he rushed off outside to play with it. As soon as Pingu went out into the cold, he needed to blow his nose. So, putting the ball down carefully on the snow, he went back inside to ask Mum for a handkerchief. The minute Pingu had gone, two of his friends turned up and seized the ball.
"We can have a good game with this,"
they said to one another. Inside the igloo, Pingu gave his nose a big blow.
"That's better,"
he said.
"Now for some football."
But when he got back outside, he found that his ball had gone.
"Thanks for asking,"
he shouted angrily at his two friends when he saw them playing with it.
"Give it back."
The two friends didn't want to give the ball back at all.
"Come and find it,"
they shouted at Pingu, and they ran off round the back of the igloo. Then one of the penguins began to bounce Pingu's ball on his head, over and over again.
"I hope it gives you a headache,"
said Pingu crossly. The other penguin took over the ball next, and kicked it forwards and backwards over his head with his foot.
"Show off,"
shouted Pingu. At last, Pingu managed to grab the ball back. He headed off home as fast as he could, while his two friends pelted him with snowballs. Then he stopped to make a face at the two penguins from between his legs and got hit. Smack, on his bottom by a huge snowball. Back at home, Pingu told Dad what had happened.
"And now look at my ball,"
cried Pingu, staring sadly at the floppy red thing on the floor.
"It's gone all flat again."
My poor Pingu.
said Mum.
Come and have a hug.
And she gathered her little penguin up into her arms. Meanwhile, Dad got out his repair kit and began to mend the ball.
I hurt my head when I was outside too.
Pingu told Mum, and he started to cry.
Never mind.
Said Mum gently.
We'll soon have you better again.
Mum put a plaster on Pingu's head, and Dad pumped the ball up again. As Mum rocked Pingu in the hammock, Dad came over with something behind his back.
Here your Pingu.
He said, and he handed Pingu his red ball. It was lovely and bouncy again.
It's as good as new.
Said Dad proudly.
Just like me.
Said Pingu. The end.